We were one of the first craft distilleries to open in Kentucky. Mary Beth Tomaszewski and myself, we founded the business in 2009, and we source all of our grains locally from the general region here, from the farmers. Localized production creates a unique flavor, creates a unique kind of difference compared to other types of larger scale produced bourbon.
Kentucky became a state in 1792. Just 3 years later, in 1795, Jacob Beam started selling his corn whiskey recipe, which would eventually grow into Jim Beam, the world's #1 selling bourbon. Today, bourbon is a $9 billion economic driver for the state of Kentucky, generating approximately 23,000 direct and indirect jobs. There is an incredible point of pride working in the bourbon industry in Kentucky.
My husband and I decided to open a distillery after visiting Maker's Mark years ago. My husband's background, his fourth great-grandfather founded Bardstown, Kentucky, so he was the founder of the bourbon capital of the world, so we had to make bourbon. I mean, you know, we're the Bards of Bardstown. Starting a new business here in Kentucky, we have been supported since the very beginning. If something happened to our still, someone would call us that day or the next day and say, how can we help you? We'll make your bourbon for you.
Everybody wants everybody to do better. So if you have a question, you can reach out, you can get some help. When you come in the driveway at Casey Jones Distillery, the first thing you'll see on the right is our big new barrel rickhouse. We reached out to the Southwest Kentucky Economic Development Council, and they then gave us information to get in touch with the Kentucky Cabinet of Economic Development. Those two entities were extremely helpful in helping us put together a business plan and getting a little bit of grant money.
We've been very involved with our local Convention and Visitors Bureau as well as our Chamber of Commerce. We've also been involved with the local government because we've had to change some laws so that we can operate our business on Sunday.
About a decade ago, we couldn't even serve a cocktail by the glass or offer a tasting at one of our facilities. But thanks to the changes made by the legislature and by the governor over the course of the last 10 years, that has begun to change, and Kentucky's economy and our business are better for it.
We're all in this together, and we're really proud of that.
We have masks on to protect ourselves right now, but you can still literally smell the mold in the building. And as you get down in the basement, that's where the water really comes into play.
There's a lot of water in there, which has in turn led to lots of mold issues with all the drywall that they've torn out. That, along with the asbestos and lead contaminants in there, it's pretty nasty in there. This is a 100-year-old plus building that needs to be taken down and start all over.
This bridge is located in the bluegrass region of Kentucky, not far from a major river system, kind of in a rolling farmland setting. So this bridge was first observed in September of 2022 of having some bat usage on it. At first, all we really saw was guano staining and urine staining, and a little bit of chirping was heard underneath. Another bridge that we're working on that has some bat roosting being observed is also in northern Kentucky in a similar setting. They're all over small creeks that lead into bigger bodies of water. So it's all about connecting that foraging corridor for the bats. So once we discovered that bats were using the bridge, we decided to look at a couple different options on how to best design that structure. We decided to make sure our construction scheduling, our design, was all built around what we had learned about the species' usage. Bats are probably going to be using it some during construction, and then when we're finally done, we'll open the new bridge and demo the old bridge and make sure that demo takes place in the winter while the bats have gone on to their hibernacula. This bridge was important, but was not their sole roost. So in order to replace that bridge, we're going to try to limit all work during the winter months. If there is some displacement or adverse impact to bats when they emerge back on the landscape, we know that there's alternate roosts that they can get to until they become more comfortable to use the new bridge. I think it's important for an average person, an average Kentuckian, to care a little bit more about bats on the landscape because they're incredibly important for vegetable and fruit production. A single bat, the little ones you see fluttering around the outside of your porch, can eat upwards of 3,000 insects in a night. They will double their body weight in a single 6 or 7 hour foraging period. Removing that from the landscape or even having small declines in their numbers can mean decimating impacts to farmers. It's exciting to know that Kentucky is committed to not only replacing these habitats the best we can, but doing it in a way that benefits both the residents of Kentucky and our safety for motorists, and then also threatened and endangered species.
The major rehabilitation project of the Sherman-Minton Bridge is now complete.
It's a very critical link between two states, two big communities, and regionally as well.
The Sherman-Minton Bridge opened in 1962 and remains one of just a few double-decked interstate bridges in America. The bridge carries 70,000 vehicles a day over the Ohio River between Kentucky and Indiana. In August 2018, INDOT and KYTC announced the Sherman-Minton Renewal, a multi-phase project that would add up to 30 years of life to the bridge.
Similar to aging vehicles, infrastructure must be repaired or replaced when it exceeds its useful life. And maintaining critical bridges like the Sherman-Minton isn't something that we consider nice to do, it's something that we must do.
The project team announced Kentucky and Indiana would share the cost of the project, which was fully funded through federal and state highway funds. INDOT and KYTC worked with state, local, and federal officials to do an environmental study analyzing the impacts of the project and ways to mitigate those impacts.
We started very early on with the environmental, advancing that, looking at the concerns of both communities, the folks in New Albany and the folks in Louisville.
The project team conducted an extensive public involvement process, gathering feedback from community leaders, elected officials, business owners, and the public.
In a project of this size and scale, it's very important to have public involvement, and so the public involvement for this project included public meetings, public hearings, surveys, letters, a variety of different media focus.
We really spent a lot of time talking with community members, looking at the best way for this community to have the repairs done on this bridge, and so that was really exciting and neat to be part of helping the community have that kind of influence.
The public emphasized it wanted minimal impacts and maximum access. In response, the project team developed a low-impact maintenance of traffic approach that maintained as much access to the bridge as possible during construction.
We analyzed numerous maintenance of traffic options, and we shared those options with the public and other stakeholders and listened to the preferences that were offered as part of that outreach. The preferences were clear: maintain access across the bridge to the fullest extent during construction.
The Federal Highway Administration gave the project its final stamp of approval in fall 2020. In the winter, the project team selected Kokosing Construction Company as the contractor for the project, negotiated, and then awarded the contract in March of 2021. Construction on the Sherman-Minton Bridge included 4 main phases. The work included replacing or refurbishing bridge decks, rehabbing or replacing structural steel elements, replacing hanger cables, drainage repairs, new lighting, and painting.
Quite honestly, these kinds of structures don't come around very often, so an opportunity to be involved in rehabilitating this. I've always been a huge proponent for reusing something that's tried and true, and that's exactly what we're doing in this case.
The project team overcame many challenges during construction, including material delays and labor shortages caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as unplanned closures.
It may have been a long, arduous process in their minds and our minds too, but I know they'll be ready to be able to drive through at normal highway speeds without having to worry about traffic backups or narrow lanes or whether it's open or closed this weekend or next weekend.
Construction wrapped up in late fall 2024, giving drivers full access to the bridge once again.
I grew up in Louisville. I'm from Louisville, so I've been driving over this bridge for as long as I can remember. It sort of all came full circle to be able to be a part of that team that's rehabbing it and going to still be around when my kids are driving over it.
Reaching New Heights is our way of translating the vision that we have for the University of Pikeville that will transpire over the course of the next 10 years into a funding mechanism that will drive us forward for the next 25 years.
The campaign came to light after receiving a large gift from a major donor, $25 million, to create a new dental school.
The Tanner College of Dental Medicine is vital to Central Appalachia and to Eastern Kentucky.
And this is going to be the first dental college in this region. It's going to produce students that actually work in our area.
There is definitely a need and a lack of care, and we have some of the largest oral health disease in the state.
That inspired us to think about what other needs can we meet. One being a large-scale athletic complex that our college has never had.
Bear Mountain is going to be a state-of-the-art athletic facility, unlike anything at our level.
When student athletes come and take a look at your institution, they want to see the facility that they're going to play on. If we can take them up onto a piece of property that we own that's fully branded as the University of Pikeville's home, that has the view that that facility will have, the future that we can envision up there is really unlimited.
We are here to make an impact on their lives, many of which are first-generation students where they are the first in their family to experience what higher education is like.
These are good kids who work hard, who want to make something of themselves, and they so often get caught up in the, I just don't have that last $1,000 to be able to attend college.
Scholarships help take those students that extra mile, to give them what they really need to go to college and succeed and to focus on learning and to open all the doors that an education opens for them.
I have to keep my studies up, I have to do good on my test, or I would lose that scholarship. So it really gives you a support system and something to look back and be like, someone believed in me enough to give me this opportunity.
And I think the biggest reward is seeing at the end of the day when they walk across that stage of graduation, you can know that you're the one who got them there.
Investing in scholarships, particularly in endowed scholarships, provides for students not only for today and tomorrow, but for the next 150 years.
Every gift's important, every donor is important, so we encourage our network to re-engage with us during this campaign and learn more about what's happening at UPike and the impact that they can have.
I'm a retired nurse who wanted to do some volunteer work, and I saw a Kentucky Harvest commercial, and I thought I could do that. That's not too heavy duty, and I've been doing it for about a year now.
We knew
that Kentucky Harvest would be a perfect partner for this, and so we adopted this for all of our Louisville stores and worked with Kentucky Harvest for the past 4 years in giving back and helping to feed the hungry.
You visit a store, you tell them you're from Kentucky Harvest, and they get a bunch of food bags together for you, and you load that in your cart.
The team members really get on board. They know how important it is to our organization, and they take it very seriously. They want to be able to help.
It was easy. You did everything on the app. You signed up, you picked your route. After I collect all the food, I drive down to Calvary Episcopal Church down on South 4th Street.
Kentucky Harvest has been an integral part of what we do clear back since 1991. We serve an average of like 125 clients a day.
I see them come in and they're so grateful. They walk out with a big grocery bag full of food, and it's wonderful. They're so grateful because they know they're going to eat for the next couple of days.
I mean, everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to be healthy, and when you see people that don't have enough, then you know that you have the means to help them, and that's it.
We're really lucky to have a Kentucky Harvest in our area.
I'm Darren Thompson. I'm the general manager of the Lebanon Water Works Company and the Springfield Water and Sewer Commission. I ensure safe drinking water to both of our communities. Back in the early 1980s when I was a kid, Lebanon had very little access to water. So ultimately, businesses did not locate here. In the late 1980s, Fagan Branch Reservoir was constructed. It is roughly a 100-acre reservoir that holds nearly 1 billion gallons of water, and it's been a game changer for Lebanon. Right behind us is a new distillery that's under construction. Ultimately, distilleries, like many other industrial businesses, rely on large quantities of water, and having good quality water makes really good bourbon. Water is vital to farmers, whether it's soybean crops, whether it's corn production. Farmers use water to help spray herbicides and to keep their crops healthy. I had a farmer here recently just tell me that having good quality water helps keep his cattle healthier, which in turn makes a better product. Water Grows Kentucky is an important mission that highlights the value of water to our local communities and our state. Water grows Lebanon and water grows Kentucky.
This is going to make our roads safer, keep people safer. Anyone that has a vision deficiency that doesn't allow them to meet the standard will not be allowed to renew until that gets corrected.
Vision is the primary sense that we use when we're driving. So for everything from switching lanes, reading road signs and seeing signals, but also peripheral awareness, it's important that we're using that sense of awareness to be safe.
Being able to see at long distance as well as your field of vision is important for drivers to be safe behind the wheel.
Vision is essential all times, but especially at night when low light situations have already impeded your vision. So it's essential to know that you can see well enough to see the environment around you during the low light driving.
Cataracts can make things harder to see at nighttime. Glaucoma can take away our peripheral vision, which can decrease our awareness and decrease our reaction times on the road. Our sense of vision is initiated when light enters the eye, so certain weather conditions can decrease the amount of light coming to the eye, but also decrease distance, visibility.
If you have good vision, it still can be difficult at times, but if you have poor vision and additional impairment, it makes it even more dangerous.
A lot of times people don't realize they might have a vision issue. They haven't been checked. This takes care of that for them.
Our eyes and our vision are constantly changing throughout our lifetime, so normal anatomical changes can typically be addressed with simple changes to an eyeglass prescription or contact lens prescription.
It's a really simple process. It takes about a minute or less. You look inside the machine, it runs some lights, and they record your responses. And as long as you pass, you go ahead and proceed to renew.
I just think knowing now that you have to have a screening every 4 to 8 years to renew your license will just help people be more aware of their vision problems. So if they have a problem, they can go see their eye doctor and get it corrected.
And I do know that states that have implemented this vision screening, they have seen decreases in their traffic crashes overall.
If we save one life, it'll be worth it. But I imagine that the numbers will be much, much higher than that, and that's ultimately the goal.
Wieland is a family-owned German company that was founded over 200 years ago in the city of Ulm.
Blue Oval SK is a joint venture between Ford Motor Company and SK On SK Innovations, a Korean company.
InFact is automotive component supplier. We originally started with control cables, and now we're transitioning into the electric vehicle components. When you're buying a house, a lot of people will tell you there are 3 things that you gotta look at: location, location, and location. Being centrally located to cover north and south of the United States was a very critical part for us.
The nexus of I-64, I-65, and I-71 really create an easy connection to the rest, not just of the region and the rest of the Commonwealth. This area is very well connected both to rail and air logistics routes, makes our connections to our sister companies as well as our customers and suppliers very easy.
What we found were the people here in Kentucky were very genuine. They really wanted to grow, and so that's what was really attractive.
There is an incredible point of pride working in the bourbon industry in Kentucky. Suntory Global Spirits alone employs 1,500 people across the Commonwealth, which is easily our largest employee base anywhere around the globe, and an indication about how strong our partnership is with the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
The Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development has been a willing partner. They're always open to discuss and try new things and dream big dreams here in Kentucky.
When we contacted the economic development teams, Kentucky was the easiest to work with. They were the fastest to turn around and give us the right answers.
Kentucky is perfect. They are just so engaging and collaborative. We've had so much fun in the partnerships that we've been able to build, and now a lot of those people we refer to as our family.
In terms of investment, we've continually grown this facility, and it's now Toyota's largest facility in the world.
If you drive by our facilities, you'll see how amazing, and they're 60 football fields big, and they're tall and they're wide, and people really get a great opportunity to see the investment that's being made here in Kentucky.
Anytime I'm traveling over a suspension or arch bridge with a suspended roadway, I'm paying attention to the details of the hangars.
Hanger cables are what support the bridge. They're literally what you think. The bridge is hanging from them. It's like a wire rope. It's made up of a bunch of different wires, and they hang vertically. Typically what we try to do when we design the system to offload and replace the hangers is we do it so that the bridge doesn't even know that it's happening.
Well, first they have to attach new connection steel because our hangars are in a different location than the existing hangars. They're slightly offset.
What we do is in very, very slow increments as we slowly lift up the bridge, lower the bridge, and transfer those loads from the existing hangars to the new hangars. But these particular strands are designed so that they have a braking strength that's 3 times what they need. So you would actually have to stack 3 of these bridges on top of one another before these strands would break.
So we definitely take pride in being part of this sort of operation. It's unique work and it's important to the safety of the traveling public.